Hey everybody, I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm not perfect. And despite what Green has told you, I am not perfect. So, again, every time a Christian tells me that they're a perfectionist, or anytime whatsoever a Christian is going to point out to me and say, well, it was made perfect. Life was made perfect in every way imaginable. It's perfect. God did everything perfect, and it's all perfect. And so, again, it was, he was purportedly in this mythology, in my estimation, the angel of perfection, right? So, if I am sitting here saying to you, that I am not perfect, then I certainly must be what Green attests people like me to be. Isn't that so? And I wanted to remind everybody one more time that military transhumanism is a real thing. I'm not just sitting here saying, well, I made up this conspiracy theory, okay, and I call it military transhumanism. And I'm just conspiracy theorisming over here, don't you know? It is anything but the case. Look into someone like Michael Goldblatt, who used to work for McDonald's and said we need to have self-sterilizing food packaging, kind of where you would open it and it would instantly sterilize, because around that time there were some outbreaks, foodborne illness at McDonald's, and they ended up as McDonald's saying, no, we're gonna fire you. So he got fired and he joined DARPA. So he literally believes that through biology in particular, we're going to be able to control our own evolution. And these military transhumanists believe, right? Excuse me, they believe um, that it's going to be a meld of man and machine, that's the future evolution of humankind. And so when someone sits here and says, well, I don't support trans in any capacity, I'm anti-trans, and yet they turn around and say, I love the military, maybe they're a service member, I don't know, I support the military. Well, on some level, they're at least condoning. The word means allow something to happen, right? They're at least condoning military transhumanism as a viewpoint in military science and as an actual thing that's being implemented as an approach. So it's not just that this is their mindset, they're actively implementing it. That's what I'm trying to say there. And so any of these kind of people that are military transhumanists or support them, what is the case here being that a man is just a man and a woman is just a woman? How is that the case when you're putting, in some cases, this is going to be, satirical, but let's say we put a chip in our testicle as a male, and it gives us this supernatural power that we don't need women anymore, to give birth. And it's a joke, but there's some reality to that. I mean, these people are white supremacists, a lot of them. And they're also male supremacists, having said that, right? But how is a man, just a man, and how's just a woman only a woman when this is what the military is doing? If civilians have this viewpoint that, a man's just a man, well, then if you support the military, long and short of what I'm saying here, that means that you are at least allowing a man not to just be a man anymore and a woman not to be a woman. So I think it is meant to divide us as citizens while they're over there as the military doing transhumanism. You know, transsexuality is transhumanism, and it's civilian transhumanism. And so it's really a fight against military transhumanism as opposed to civilian transhumanism. And they want you to focus on the civilians and say, these are bad people. Look, these are violent people, they're bad people, they have a dogmatic ideology, you know, all these bad things that they will say about us. And they don't want you to look over here and realize, hey, how about that? You know, these people over here, they have their own kind of humanism that's trans going on. They don't want you to be as aware of that. They want you to focus on me and how much you hate me and how much I go against godliness or whatever they want to say, or that I am, that, you know, they want you to believe I am once again perfect in every way so conceivable and imaginable. And I'm going to turn around one more time. What am I going to say to you? I am not. I'm just a human being, just like you. I just happen to be trans, and this is somehow controversial when what the people in the military, again, are doing is apparently not controversial just because people don't know about it much of the time. You know, but that's where we are. The Berlin Wall collapsed, and we internalized Soviet biologists. We let them become citizens in some cases, and we began putting chips in brains around that time more than ever before. Before then, it was mostly just engineering and engineers. And then we said we're going to start putting brain chips in there. You know, so this is on some level kind of picking up where the Soviets left off and now turning around and saying we control our evolution. And here's how we do it, through chips and a meld of man and machine. As for those civilians, we need to make sure that they don't get to have their trans care. We need to make sure that they're not allowed to do these kind of things. Meanwhile, we're allowed to do these kinds of things. Like, I'm not sitting here putting a chip in my breasts as they're developing or something. Like, I don't necessarily think that the future is a meld of human and machine as much as these people. But I do think that the future, definitely on a civilian level, as you conceive of it, is that we can change our gender. That with the advent of science's progresses, we have relegated gender to just something that, while it's biological as well as a social construct, even as a biological construct, it is still just that. It's only a construct. And it's something that through science we understand more, and we understand how to change in whatever ways we find, you know, fitting to us as humans. And, you know, that's what science has wrought in progress. You know, this is not a bad thing. There have always been trans individuals throughout time. You can even go back to the time of ancient Greece, and they had certain temple worshippers that were men that became women. And the Greeks did not have any problem with this. But instead, we can sit here and rant about how this trans person cannot be Achilles. And this strokes my Roman sensibilities, right? And I don't like it. It's too Greek for me. And I really would say to these people, it's all Greek to you. You need to look at actual history. That for the longest time, there have been men that become women or women that become men. It's just that now we've advanced to a level where it's more visible to you in a way that is more upsetting to you. And it's never upsetting to me. And I never have a problem with it. So thank you.